What's up, YouTube? Get Fit fam. Today is a rainy day in beautiful Miami. So I figured while I'm doing my cardio, I take advantage of an opportunity to do my first movie review. I actually happen to really like movies, but I'm well aware of how dangerous they are, as movies are one of the biggest forms of media used to condition our minds and basically shape the way we think and perceive reality. And also, it kind of subconsciously informs us on how to react and behave in certain situations, which is sabotaging us, because unfortunately, when we behave as the characters do in particular situations, we don't necessarily get the same result that those characters got in the movies. So today the movie that I want to cover is it's called Love and Monsters. It actually came out last winter of 2020, and it's an interesting movie. I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. Has a lot of red pill, concepts in it, buried in it. So I kind of just want to undig some of them and share them with y'all. Maybe some of you guys would appreciate the movie. It's entertaining, at least, informative at best. So the director was actually Michael Matthews, and I'm just gonna first go ahead and read the description that they give, and then I'll give you my description of it, my take on it. But 7 years after the monster apocalypse, Joel, along with the rest of humanity, has been living underground ever since giant creatures took control of the land. After reconnecting over the radio with his high school girlfriend, Amy, who is now 80 miles away at a coastal colony, Joel begins to fall for her again. As Joel realizes that there's nothing left for him underground, he decides to venture out to Amy, despite all the dangerous monsters that stand in the way. Okay, boom. So this is a hero's journey. So it's gonna be fun in that sense. Spoiler alert, he doesn't get the girl. So let's get into it. So the dude Joe is basically kind of just the average, the average teenager. He's not really confident, he's not strong, not alpha, not athletic, living in a really safe world. But for whatever reason, contrary to all of that, he actually has a girlfriend, and she's pretty fucking hot. She's also not a prude, let's put it like that. So she's the aggressor in the relationship. He's pretty passive. They never really explain how he got said girlfriend, and this information is given to us in very, very short flashbacks. But in the present time in the movie, he's actually living underground in a colony of survivors. The apocalypse, I'm not gonna really get into how it was caused, but the gist of it, the premise of the movie is that the cold-blooded creatures of the earth have been mutated into these giant, ferocious creatures. So that's what we're dealing with, basically giant cold-blooded animals, whether they be insects, crustaceans, reptiles, anything that's cold-blooded is a fucking big-ass monster at this point. So everybody's living underground that survived. Joel is, like I described earlier, no hero. He's no tough guy. So he doesn't participate in the hunting, the scouting, or the protecting of the colony. He's reduced to just being the house cook. So as you can imagine, the other dudes don't really respect or appreciate him that much, and none of the chicks are feeling him. In fact, he's the only dude that's single in the colony. Everybody else is paired up. So he doesn't get a girl, he doesn't get any poo nanny, and basically they don't respect him. So he actually got control of a radio, so he's able to communicate outside of the colony. And one of the people that he's in contact with happens to be his girlfriend from prior to the apocalypse. Now, he lost his parents during the apocalypse. He wasn't able to protect them, and they died, so he failed there. His girl went, I think, to go check on her family, and he let her go, which obviously is another fail. But he let her go, so she survived, but she's 80 miles away from him, and it's been 7 years. So that's the lay of the land so far. So he basically gets tired of being lonely, tired of being rejected. So he decides to go on this journey to go find his girl after he realizes that she's 84 miles away. So he goes on this journey. We don't want to talk too much about that because I do want you guys to see the movie for yourself. But let's just say he does prevail. He gets stronger. He gets smarter. He learns how to survive on his own, and becomes somewhat of a budding hero. Let's call it that. So anyway, he finds the colony that his girl is at, and sure enough, she's hot, and he's a beta. So of course, she's moved on to bigger and better things, and she was dating some alpha dude that was pretty much running her village, but he died recently to Joel's arrival. So she's heartbroken and misses that guy, and she makes it clear to Joel that she is not attracted to him, not interested in him, and it was only comforting to communicate with him over the radio because he was the only thing that still existed from her pre-apocalyptic past. So basically, she was just using that dude for comfort and emotional support. She wasn't interested in him romantically at all, but he risked his life to walk 84 miles in I think 7 days and battle monsters to get to her. So the point is that he finally started taking some risk. He challenged himself. He participated in a rite of passage, his coming of age, and he succeeded. He won against all the odds, but he did it for the wrong reasons. He didn't do it for himself. He did it to impress the girl, to win over the girl. So he quickly realizes that, he also realizes that his loyalty should have been with his colony, with his people that need him. So he radios back, finds out they're in trouble, and says, fuck it, I'm out of here. And he ends up having to fight to save her and her colony before he leaves and heads back to his. So I don't really want to get too much more into the storyline. I probably already told you guys too much about the story itself, but what's important is what I took from the movie, which is that men have to kind of participate in a rite of passage, and that's not being provided to us in our society anymore. But that doesn't mean that we've evolved past the need for it. So a lot of these young dudes, the reason why they lack confidence, awareness, and purpose is because they never had their feet put to the fire. They haven't had a situation in their youth that forced them to basically challenge themselves and affirm what they're made of and their strength. And without that, they're kind of just floating through life without this natural self-confidence that comes from overcoming some type of great challenge in your youth on your own, with nobody to help you, nobody to hold your hand, nobody to provide that safety net. So when you don't have that and you're all on your own and you somehow still persevere, boom, now you've developed a certain type of confidence that is going to remain with you for the rest of your life, because when you had no one to count on but yourself, you still were able to overcome, right? So that's pretty much what I got from this movie. And I've been meaning to do a short video about rite of passage and coming of age, and how men need to create that scenario for themselves if life isn't providing it for you. And when I say men, I mean young men, obviously, like 18, 19, 20, might even already be too old. But the point is, it needs to happen at some point in life, or else you're always gonna have that void. So check the movie out and ask yourself, what was your rite of passage? Peace.